Hello and welcome. This is the April edition of the Kushmerek Connection. We're filming this at FATV Studios, located now on Boulder Drive in their new studio space. I want to, as always, thank them for being such wonderful hosts and such an amazing asset to our community. Joining us today is I keep wanting to say new, but maybe not so new at this point, now going in almost 10 months. Deb Hinkle, the new library director at Fitchburg Public Library. Thank you so much for joining me in studio today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here. It's a beautiful new studio.
Well, so mostly new to both Fitchburg and to this role. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in this profession before we get into some of the exciting things happening at the library.
Yeah, well, born and raised in central Pennsylvania.
Sure.
I decided maybe about 2013 that I wanted to mosey my way up to Boston/Massachusetts in general. I had gone to school for library science, and I knew that a state like Massachusetts is just a wonderful place to be in the library world, with agencies like the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. Massachusetts was my game. So I was very excited to get up here. I kind of migrated out from Boston. Now I'm living in Worcester. For this, I was working, when I first started in libraries here in Massachusetts, I started actually as a youth services librarian / assistant director, which is kind of a weird position, but actually kind of pretty common here in Massachusetts.
Sure.
So I did everything from story time to representing the city or the town.
So a lot of hands-on work with constituents in the community. Yeah,
and then actually the director that was there while I was assistant director left, and I applied for the job and became director in I think 2017. And I fell in love with that community. It was wonderful. It was really, really hands-on for a director position. I got to really interact with the day-to-day operations there. And then in 2021, I was presented with the opportunity to go work at Framingham Public Library with their amazing director, Lena Kilburn. So I learned so much there working with her. And then I got
and similar sized community too. I'm sure you got to learn a lot in
right.
that role.
So it was
right?
so much different from Uxbridge, going from that like maybe 14,000 community, and then Framingham 70,000, I think.
Right.
So it was a culture shock. I went from being very hands-on, day-to-day operations, knowing the staff, knowing the patrons, to kind of behind the scenes, big picture work. So I learned a lot, and I was really excited when I saw this kind of in-between city that was also going through such big, exciting changes in the library world. So.
That's that perfect maybe balance between the Uxbridge and Framingham, right? Of
exactly.
You still get to do the hands-on with the community, but also there's some big duties and responsibilities.
Yeah, it's a big job here, but I love to say it's the Goldilocks of my library career.
I love it. So 10 months in, how's it going?
It's great. It's been busy. It's been challenging, but I've really enjoyed getting to know my staff, getting to know my colleagues at City Hall. They've been so patient with me as I'm kind of learning the ins and outs of this particular municipality, and I've just I've been able to collaborate and kind of reach out and meet other people within the community, and it's been so welcoming. So it's really a little diamond in the rough here.
I think it was wonderful to see in your first month working alongside your predecessor too, and Sharon Bernard. Really, just what a wonderful opportunity, particularly in a department head role. That's often rare to see an overlap and an opportunity to learn alongside and to collaborate. Tell us a little bit about that.
That was fantastic. I've never had the opportunity to do such a thing, to have that overlap, and it was key. She is so, she's a pillar of our community. She's been here in the Fitchburg Library in some capacity for so many years, and I felt so lucky to be able to work side by side with her for a couple of weeks. And even now, she's both on the building committee for our upcoming building project, and she is the co-chair of the soon-to-be fundraising committee that we'll be running.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm very grateful for her. She's done so much legwork. I can't even tell you. I came in at the right time. Sharon put in years of work, and it's really paying off.
Well, and now we're poised for some big changes,
Yeah.
really monumental changes at the Fitchburg Public Library. Tell us a little bit about what is in store for both the library and the public.
Yeah, so huge changes. We're so excited. So for those that don't know yet, we're going to be doing a building renovation project as well as an expansion. So we're going to renovate the current Wallace Library. We're going to keep that structural integrity because it's such again, another diamond in the rough.
That's right.
Make it a little bit more updated, safe, accessible, efficient, effective. We're so excited for it. There's going to be a computer lab, a maker space. The teens are going to finally have their own space. I digress. The other part of this building project is going to be creating an entirely new children's room, learning center, and community flexible programming space. So we've got big things coming ahead.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. And I think the needs of a library have changed pretty dramatically from when the library was first built, right?
Exactly.
The needs and the usage by the community, I'm sure, are always changing, and this space will give you that flexibility to adapt to not only needs today, but probably future needs as they arise, right?
Exactly, yeah. And as we're kind of working with our architect and the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners Library Construction Program, they've been huge advocates of creating a space that does allow that flexibility. So yes, we'll meet the needs that we've been dying to meet for some time now, but we'll also be able to, like you say, build in the flexibility to meet those needs in 10, 20 years, because like technology and anything else in the world, libraries are evolving constantly,
Right.
and I love it.
I think people think of libraries, they just think of books on shelves, right? And that's an important component. And I'm old school. I enjoy a physical book in my hand, and so for folks like me, that's I still love to see the books on the shelves. But libraries have really evolved beyond just books on shelves, right?
Right. Oh yes. We have changed tremendously in the last couple of decades, but even more so since the pandemic began. And the collection of the library will always be instrumental to its core mission, right?
Sure.
But we're also here to foster human connection, to build our social infrastructure of the community and the communities around us. This is a place where people can come no matter what walk of life, what age. You can just come in and you can use our services, and we're a welcoming place for that.
Well, at the heart of it, the libraries have always been about just the pursuit of lifelong learning,
Right. Yeah.
and not just about reading, right? But about creating that safe space to foster that learning.
And for those that do enjoy that traditional, quiet environment of the library, I'm so happy to report that we will have a quiet reading room. So, we truly, in this new building that we're working on, we'll have a space for every single person.
So tell us a little bit about the project, because the scope is huge, and in terms of both the timeline as well as there's a big budget attached to this too, and a lot of different parts that you've been really orchestrating between Massachusetts Library Building Commissioners and the city.
Right. So this project truly would not be happening for not the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. We have been awarded, thanks to Sharon Bernard's extremely hard work, a $12.5 million grant. Wow. That money can only be used on this project. It cannot be transferred to something else, even though I know there are needs throughout the entire city.
Sure.
But through agencies like the MBLC, this money is specifically for creating a library that can serve us for decades to come. In addition to this $12.5 million grant, we are so lucky that the city allocated ARPA funds were allocated over to the library project. Again, truly without these ARPA funds, this project might not be happening. And then through the city's generosity of themselves and a capital campaign that's coming up pretty shortly.
And so how can folks in the public support the capital campaign? Because this is one of those where you're going to need every dollar, and you need the public support of just as much as anything in order to make this project everything and more that the city needs.
Yeah, the capital campaign is absolutely instrumental to this this project shaking out like we want it to. We want to have the building, but we also want to have the components of the building that will make it so special. So we still need to raise $3.5 million at the very least in order to make this project happen.
Sure.
The public will be well aware of this capital campaign as soon as it starts shooting off. We're just in the early stages of organizing, and stay tuned. Big things to come. If you do want to learn more about the library project, you can go to our website, fitchburglibrary.org, and there is a tab titled Building Project. So.
Wonderful. And then in the interim, too, there'll be some changes coming as well as to where you shift your operations, right?
Yeah, so we are so lucky to have found a home at the Fitchburg Redevelopment's Putnam Place. That's going to be at 166 Boulder Drive. So those of us who are around Fort Wayne City Hall was over there. It's
That's
the
right.
same facility. So we're hoping by the end of summer to get over into that new temporary space that we'll call home for a couple of years. We'll have to close the library for about a month, like hopefully less, but we want to take the time to carefully plan out exactly how we can run a smooth operation over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then from start to finish for this project, once the construction starts, once you move,
Right.
When do you anticipate the project being finished and welcoming folks into the new space?
So I anticipate that construction will start in fall of 2025, fall of 2023. Whoa. But the project itself, I would say late 2025.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
yeah.
yeah.
It happens quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's going to be a quick, crazy whirlwind process, but we have an amazing staff, an amazing team of professionals over at City Hall, our project managers, our architects, our capital campaign, our mayor.
And what wonderful staff you have, too, who are always so welcoming and accommodating of the public. And just to see the number of children who use the library, too, and parents coming in and out with kids, and just how helpful your staff are, it's really amazing to see.
I can't tell you how amazing they are. I can't say it enough or stress it enough. I am so grateful to have walked into a situation where we have a ship that runs really, really smoothly. So I'm so grateful to my staff and everything they do.
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything exciting beyond the construction project that's coming up with the library for programming in the weeks or months ahead?
Yeah, so over at April Vacation, our children's librarian and our teen librarian have partnered with the Fitchburg Art Museum to do some interactive art programs over at the museum. So stay tuned for that. Check the library website. On top of that, we'll be collaborating with the city on I believe, the Fitchburg's second annual Earth Day, which is April 22nd. So the library will be there. Come visit us. Lastly, I know our friends of the library are looking for new members. Reach out, email me, dhinkle@cwmars.org. We're looking for new people, and we've got an excellent group of our current friends, and we need some more power to get those ideas that they want to do executed.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and good luck in the weeks ahead as you prepare for the big move.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
I remember when.
Fitchburg was the smallest town in the area, but by 1835, it had grown to be the largest town. By 1840 and 50, most Fitchburg residents had become abolitionists. Another early industry in Fitchburg that still continues today is scythe making. Women used to have to spin yarn and weave cloth themselves, but now it was being made in factories, cutting down and exporting its wood to build cities up and down the East Coast. and of course, for making paper. Starting in the 1800s, the population becomes much more diverse. Fitchburg Machine Works expanded widely.
After World War II, Main Street was lively.
And we're back. Thanks so much for tuning in to the April Kushmerek Connection. Joining me in studio is Elizabeth Coveney, CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Fitchburg and Leominster. Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. And so, fairly new director, CEO at Boys and Girls Club.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about how long you've been here and where you were before this and kind of how you got into the Boys and Girls Club in this industry.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for asking. So I've been at the Boys and Girls Club almost 15 months, which seems like yesterday that I started, truly. And so I enjoyed a very long career in the consumer products industry, the advertising agency business, as well as I had my own company. So I had all of this great experience in marketing, sales, operations, finance, and I just was missing purpose. And I'm probably one of those post-pandemic people that, kind of had that, wait a minute, what am I doing with my life moment. And so, the Boys and Girls Club of America was conducting a nationwide search. They found me, I found them. I guess it's mutual. And I love it because it's really a complete use of my business acumen, everything I've done and been trained for, but with a purpose and really something that I can get behind. It's so powerful to be able to take care of kids. So I love it so far.
That's amazing, and you don't always see that in the nonprofit sector of folks coming in and migrating from the private sector. And moving in, and I love how you describe that. Really, work with a purpose, and just such an amazing impact. Tell us a little bit about the club, and I think I thought I knew what the Boys and Girls Club did until I went down for a tour.
Yes.
And I was just really amazed by the scope of your operations and the programming and the staff that you have.
Yeah, well, and thank you for coming to see us, because I don't think you really experience it until you experience it. So, so we're grateful that you all came over. So the Boys and Girls Club is an after-school youth development program. We focus on 8 to 18-year-olds. We have two separate divisions, if you will, juniors and then our teen center. And our goal is to really help extend the learning from what kids are doing in school, but also to build character, to build social skills, to offer different programming where they can explore and learn. We're primarily focused in STEAM, so we do a lot of science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
Okay.
So we add the art because we know that there's creativity and robotics isn't for everyone. So
that's right.
So we get to
present company included.
Yeah, same. So it's great to watch kids really excel. But primarily, what we do is we connect with kids. It's a peer-to-peer mentoring, leadership. 80% of their hours are spent out of school. And so how do we really impact those kids? And so we do that through our youth development professionals who are our frontline staff. And they're working with them on programmatic discipline skills, but also just having fun, you know, just being in the gym, just being outside, doing martial arts or doing rock wall climbing. You know, there's a lot of different programs. So it's really about that youth character development.
That's so critical to giving those kids a purpose too after hours, right? Just, you know, again, amazing to see when I went in person, and you know, the faces of your staff too have changed pretty dramatically recently as well. So big changes across the board, right?
Right. Yeah. So when I came on board, I think I lost 50% of my staff.
Wow.
And in some ways, you know, you have to know, working at a Boys and Girls Club, it is mission driven, purpose driven. So it is about, do you want to be here? Right. And I can honestly say I am assembling a dream team. The folks that are coming on board now, and my leadership team, are by far just amazing. The youth development professionals, which as I said, is our front line, we're, you know, again, really investing in them, in the training, in their development. But the leadership team is by far one of the best I've ever been associated with. So it's been a lot of change and a lot of growth.
Well, you can tell there's a lot of passion emanating from your center now, and really just driven and dedicated. And I think what I'm excited about too is unapologetic in your advocacy for not only the center, but for the kids. And so excited to be able to partner with you, particularly as you look forward. So tell us a little bit about where you envision this all going.
Oh, gosh. Well, we have a lot of vision. We have a lot of exciting things happening. So right now, we are probably serving less than 3% of the population. We know that we can and should be serving more kids. Probably 1 in 5 kids is alone after school. And there's so many programs that they can't afford. We're a $30 a month program. You know, you can afford, or we will scholarship those who can't. So having the place, the physical space, having the right talent, and being able to expand our footprint. So whether it's building a new field house, which is something that we're excited about looking at long term. We just built a club in Gardner, so we are in the Elm Street School in Gardner.
Oh, wow.
So we're serving that community, to just really expanding our program offering. And we know that kids coming out of isolation it's just so important to have that socialization. So we're excited about the growth potential. Long term, we want to serve a younger population, so we'll start at 6 years old. We'll go to 18 versus 8 to 18. We'll have bigger footprint in the community. So it's a lot of different programming. We're running a great summer camp. We're running a spring program. So we're just really trying to get the word out to serve more kids.
Absolutely. And so if you're a parent out there, you know, listening, how do they engage, and how do they raise their hand?
Yeah, so you can go to our website.
Sure.
So that's one way. We're on social media quite often. So there's a lot of opportunity. You can stop by the club, which we love. And then every Monday we have an open house.
Oh,
so every Monday at 5 o'clock we run an open house. So if you want to test it out, you want to bring your child over, it's a great way to just kind of take a look at the facility, meet some of the team members, and really learn what we're all about.
And for those two in Fitchburg, even though you're based in Leominster, just across the line, really at a perfect location, you actually provide transportation for these students, don't you?
Yes, we do. It's transportation, we know, is a very big aspect. So we do bus all the kids in from Fitchburg into Leominster. We're working with MART to work on how do we do a take-home program for those who don't have parent transportation at the end of the day.
Sure.
So transportation is expensive, and we know that there's a shortage of drivers and buses, and so we're really working through some of those barriers, but we do offer transportation from all the Fitchburg schools.
Wow, that's an amazing service.
Thank you.
And so tell us too, I think, how can the community help and support your mission as well?
Well, first and foremost, we're always looking for volunteers. So whether you're a greenhouse gardener, you are interested in athletics, or you just want to help kids with Power Hour, which is our homework help, we love volunteers. We find that their involvement in the community, their passion for kids, just their love of learning is so important. So anytime people want to volunteer, even if it's a group, we're a great kind of team bonding exercise. Well, you can help clean our kitchen, our activity center. We have lots of opportunities. So that's one area of getting involved. The second is really just stop by, come over. We give tours all the time. We're really proud of our facility, of our club, of our grounds.
It's state of the art.
It really is. Thank you for saying that.
Just where you're situated too, just some of the natural beauty right surrounding you is on that Doyle conservation land. It's just amazing.
Yes, that in the growing places is a great partner for us as well. We're trying to build an outdoor nature's classroom. So it's all about how do we even involve the community more, where they can come and use our facility. So we're anxious to do some of that growth work as well. But yeah, come on over. I guess that's the easiest way.
Well, and maybe the last point to end on, and I was really impressed just within the past week, we had a conversation around children's mental health and collaboration between your club and the Lunenburg Club around how to not only call more attention to children and adolescent mental health, but how to collaborate in the community with our providers and our schools to better provide mental health services.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about where that passion came from and what you're hoping to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for your work in the mental health space, because it's really important. And there was a study that was done recently, 2021, and it said 41% of parents said, my child is in a much more dire strait. And what we're seeing post-pandemic is that they're coming out of isolation. They were in their rooms doing all their schoolwork, with their hoodie up and in their bed, and we're really trying to impact that because we know that there is such a need to provide not just peer leadership, but what are the resources that we can ensure that families have. So we're doing a lot of grant writing around the Health Foundation does a whole synergy program that thank you for being involved in that.
Of course. Yeah.
Any mental health, anytime we can bring awareness, which is what we're doing with our green ribbon wall. So come on over again. Yeah. We welcome all community members to come over. We're tying 5,000 green ribbons on our mental health awareness board. And we're just really trying to bring awareness. We also hired a full-time social worker. We're looking at licensed social workers. We have wellness spaces in our club to make sure kids have the
It's just so
ability.
Critical. I think it was this growing need before the pandemic, and I think you're right. The pandemic absolutely exacerbated the issue around adolescent and teen mental health, and no one institution is going to fix this alone, right? It's not just on our medical community. It's not just on our schools. I think the best solution will come when we all work together. And so I applaud your effort and your leadership to really help galvanize the entire community around this issue. So thank you so much for everything you do, and thank you for your investment in this space. But most importantly, thank you to you and your entire team for working with our boys and girls across North Central each and every day. It's so critical.
Thank you, Michael. And I have a great team, so that's really where it starts. But appreciate the teamwork and appreciate the collaboration.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the Kushmerek Connection.
Love it.
And to our folks at home, thank you so much for tuning in. Join us for the May edition of the Kushmerek Connection, where we'll have Pete Stevens from the Fitchburg School Committee. Thank you and have a wonderful day.